Hi guys, this is Bill from Spencer1984.com with a long overdue update to the Misery Machine. I figured I'd start this video with a bit of an explanation as to why it's been taking so long, at least in part, and that has been getting the body decorated. I've got a base coat of Model Master Big Bad Blue here, which I thought was appropriate both in literal tone as well as name, and then it was time to start doing the decal work. Now, normally what I do for a project like this is I would have a white base printed, but the guy that I used to work with for things like that no longer does it, so I'm doing this the hard way, which is I have some white decal paper and I'm printing out individual sections to be cut right tight to the edge of the white area there and applying them a piece at a time, because there's no way that some of the really sharp details like down here and right here would survive if I cut that all out of one big piece and tried to apply it at once. So it's been kind of slow going, but as you can see, it's just about done here. So now I just need to finish putting the white decals on, and I will be right back with the color decals. And here it is. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. There were a few places that were a bit more work than I was expecting. I knew that the door hinges here were going to be a problem, and kind of worked around those, but I was not expecting to have to do so much piecemeal around these back corners. In retrospect, yeah, it's pretty obvious that trying to get around the tail lights, the multiple curves, and everything was going to be a problem, but some careful work, and then doing some touch-up with a custom paint that I mixed up to kind of feather all the edges together, and overall pretty happy with it. The back door there is something that I just completely made up. There was no indication that that's what it was supposed to look like from the original artwork, but it seemed appropriate, and that's that. This here on the door is a hand-painted thing, as I didn't want to try to do that layered decal effect like I was talking about, and then have everything forced to blend together on what was supposed to be a fuzzy edge of spray paint. So I just did that with a brush. And I also started it on the weathering. So I've got some dirt and mud splattered across the bottom here. I've got some marks down the sides where it's taken a little bit of damage here and there, or just general wear and tear that this would see. Nothing too heavy, but enough that it looks like it's been used. So that's where that is. And inside, I've got the first elements put in here. I've got a heater there. I've got a radio that's ready to go in. And inside the body, I've started adding some insulation, some armored panel, and started to do some paint work in here. The kit that I've got, being a glue bomb, only had one door panel, so I made a second one out of diamond plate. Figure that that works perfectly fine on a rig like this. And underneath, I've gone through and added a lot of bracing, guards around the rear differential and in front of the front axle and fuel tank, which the tank is out of my parts box. The rest of it is just bits and pieces that I got from wherever. That right there started life as a plastic fork that I got at a picnic. I've got some brake lines here with braided lines going to the wheels, and then hard lines going up the chassis rails. Right there in front of each back wheel, that's what I've got lined up with the flaps up there. And I figured that could be some sort of traction, sand, or salt dump. Don't want to have to get out of it in inclement weather, especially if you've got zombies and other monsters attacking. Got some other greebles here added from Kotobukiya kits. and more braided brake lines up here on the front wheels. I did leave it so that the front wheels can steer, though you don't really get a whole lot of movement. And then I got some scratch-built shock absorbers. Nice heavy-duty items there. I don't have any shocks on the back because it's got this extra subframe, so I figured any shock absorbers would be mounted somewheres internal in that center pivot section. So that's how that's coming. And then the very last detail is I have finished work on Velma here. I didn't make any modifications other than adding her glasses, which are scratch built from some clear and some very thin shavings of black plastic. Otherwise, this is exactly how she came out the box. I did add bandages to her left forearm and right bicep as per what the original art showed with scuff marks. I left the scars on her lower leg as per the artwork. And otherwise though, this is all just paint. I did a single beige base coat, and then on top of it is all dry brushed apple barrel craft paints. Most of the colors have been mixed custom, and tried to add not too much damage or dirt, but enough so that it looked like she's been busy working. And I have started work on Scooby, but so far he's just had the seam here around his hips filled in and a base coat. I'm going to be doing the dry brushing and adding his spots and collar over the next couple days. So he'll be finished soon. So up next, I'm going to be adding a few more details to the interior, and then going to drop the body onto the chassis, because that has to be done before some other details are added, like the chainsaws, the exhaust, and all of the roof rack components. And I will have another update, hopefully much quicker than this last update has been. So check back then, and thanks for watching.